Hey, 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 it's the Funnel Fiesta, Funnel Fiesta. I know I haven't worked on my theme song for the Funnel Fiesta yet, but I am getting there. That is just the beginning. And for just to transition from my burgeoning theme song for this whole, video series, let's get into the meat of the topic, which is auditing your funnel. I know that the word audit is, well, it's not the most entertaining word in the world. It's not something that you're like, ooh, I'm going to go audit something. But it's totally necessary when you are trying to maintain your funnel or build a new one or see what's going on with the old one. You definitely want to make sure that you actually, it's not the, let me go back. The nice thing about a funnel is that you can automate, you can streamline, you can make things more efficient, you can sell, message, and serve all while you sleep. That's the great thing about a funnel, because if you set it up right, you can just toss leads in there and eventually they'll find their way to you. However, if you don't set your funnel up right, it can be something where you're just leading people into all these different directions. So you're not actually getting those sort of like the quality cultivation of leads that you need to actually make some sales and to build up your know, like, and trust factor. I know. It's one of those things where you're like, I thought the big thing was just setting it up. I didn't know that you had to continue to, work on it, which is true because your business is going to evolve. You need to be able to, keep kind of evolving your funnel as well, because oftentimes, and I've noticed this a lot with people who are coaches, or, they kind of have like a small, light and tight business that doesn't really include, a whole lot of maybe physical products or physical events or things like that. They're able to change direction really quickly. The thing about that is that it's fabulous to be agile. It's fabulous to be able to like launch on a dime, to explore new interests, and it's fabulous. I love doing it myself. However, the deal is that oftentimes will be the first thing we'll do is to make that sales page for that new service or that new thing or that new direction. But the last thing we do is actually look at our email provider and see if we've even updated our email sequence to reflect whatever change in our business. That is super common. That's part of why when I do any sort of LinkedIn marketing, one of the big things that I do first with my clients is to actually go over their funnels. I opt into their mailing list. I join their groups. I check out their websites. I try to like find a way to actually take that customer journey so I can see, okay, what's going on here? If I can, optimize their LinkedIn profile, if I can build them a content strategy, if I can help them repurpose what they've already made so they can just like, get it all set up on LinkedIn, calls to action, everything's perfect in that LinkedIn space. What happens when somebody opts in? Because you can do a whole lot if you're marketing, and you can market the heck out of something, you can make it really visible, you can make it viral, but if there's not, I guess, a basket to throw the leads that you're, to catch the leads that you're throwing, then you're not really going to be able to like do anything with those leads. In fact, you're just paying to kind of like drop the ball more visibly for, your potential ideal client. That's why you want to make sure that you're always going through and auditing your funnel and reviewing it. I would suggest doing this quarterly. Now, with all that being said, you might be like, okay, I get it. I know what a funnel is. I know what the tech is for, the funnel that I need, but where do I start kind of going through and figuring out where the holes are in the funnel? Now, let me give you just a little checklist on where to go. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that you're checking the following areas for, let's say, errors, typos, old information, even just to see if maybe like the first email sequence that you put up, maybe it was a little funky, maybe it was a little half baked. Maybe it was something where you did it so long ago that now you know a whole lot more about copy. Maybe you have better content now. You can add new blog entries and things like that. You want to be able to send your valuable information through your email sequences. You want to make sure that your freebie opt-ins, whether they lead to a tripwire or an upsell or a downsell, whatever that is, you want to make sure that they are working. All the links. I had a tripwire that I was using with Gumroad, and I had it embedded on a page. And I kind of switched what I was doing, and I put a new version of the tripwire on Gumroad, but I didn't remember to update that lead page. So I was sending people to a tripwire that didn't work, and rookie mistake. But see, those are the little things that can happen, especially when you have a lot of moving pieces. So you want to make sure that you're actually going through to your freebies. You're checking out what it looks like for your webinars. You're going through maybe your groups or, your website. But, with that being said, keep in mind that as you go on, some things might not need to be changed just yet, but if you do have some future plans, like make sure that you're jotting this down, whether in a notebook, you can go analog with it, or, if you're using Evernote or Microsoft OneNote or something like that, make notes for things that maybe you need to change in the future, and like set a reminder for yourself. Making sure that you're actually, maintaining this, or even if you're just outsourcing, let's say that you have a contact form that doesn't work, you can outsource that to a VA to fix it. You just want to make sure that you're taking notes and you're actually like looking at the pieces of your funnel with a critical eye. Now, where are the places that you should start? The first place that I think that you should start with any website audit is looking at your social media platforms and the places that you're promoting the most. So go to your Facebook business page, go to your LinkedIn profile, go to, if you have a Pinterest account, and look there and see if you have any out of date, maybe about me information, if there's any links that are broken, if you are promoting an old offer. Those are the places where, for some reason, we might be on social media all the time, but we forget to actually update our biographies and stuff like that. So make sure that those things are on point. The next thing that I would encourage you to do is to look at your freebies or the big pieces of content that you had that directly lead people into your mailing list, your newsletter, what have you. Now check them to make sure that you are, it's still persuasive. Maybe something along the line you realize something new about your clients, so you can make that offer a little bit more juicy, make that copy a little bit more compelling. You're going to want to go there and make sure that all the links are working, that the integrations, whether it's sending the mailing, the emails to your MailChimp or Aweber or whatever, make sure that function is still working, because on occasion those things can stop, or it's going to send people to the wrong tag or something like that if you're using tagging in your subscriber list. So ooh, coffee, nectar of the gods. Now, what you're going to want to do is make sure that those freebies are all on point in the page, that looks intuitive. Make sure your biography is up to date. A lot of times our style and our just aesthetic and how we're kind of looking at our branding has evolved since the last time we put up our first freebie. So make sure that everything is still aligned with what you're doing now. This is a great time to think about whether or not you should retire this freebie and make another one. So after you do that, opt in to your mailing list. So see how it looks. And then go into the back end of your email provider and just check out the sequence as it goes. Just see how, okay, what do I have here? What do I have there? Et cetera, et cetera. Now you might be wondering why I told you to opt into your mailing list, because then you can see what it actually looks like. Sometimes we farm out the coding or the design of our newsletters, and we don't always like check them out. And you might see that, oh, okay, there's a piece of code that's not working, or there's an image that's broken. Getting them actually delivered to you lets you see what they look like to your audience. So after your mailing list sequence, and keep in mind, you can be adding things, subtracting things. I really do encourage you to see maybe what content that you have that's the most popular and add that somehow into your mailing list. So let's say you have a really popular live stream. That could be a perfect thing to put in your email sequence because your tribe, your people, your squad, they've already kind of shown that they're interested in that. Now, when you are thinking about your email sequence, keep in mind that your sequence should be guiding people into an introduction of you, showcasing value of just your services, your content, whatever, promoting some sort of mid to low cost offer that's maybe more passive, and then eventually, promoting a higher end offering. So you can think about that email sequence, taking them on a journey. You want to make sure that it makes sense. So if you're somebody who is a life coach, you probably want it to be more about life coaching, motivation, mindset, that sort of thing, not be like, this is a recipe for vegan burritos, and this is a picture of an orca that I saw when I went on vacation, or whatever. You want to make sure that it makes sense. Now, those are some of the more traditional ways that people might get into your funnel or might find out about you. Another thing to think about is that if you have any sort of community, whether you are using Mighty Networks, Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, what have you, you're going to want to make sure that you check out whatever templates or questions or whatever welcoming sequence that you have there. For Facebook groups, if you're asking people questions, check them out. Make sure they're still relevant. For your LinkedIn group, since there's a template that you can send to welcome people and to confirm them into the group, make sure that's still up to date and has a call to action. You'd be surprised how many people have a golden opportunity to send their LinkedIn group members a message and they don't. Another thing to think about is that depending on where your group or your community or your membership is, this might be something where if you have a large membership community, or maybe you have a lot of working pieces for your group where you are scheduling content or you have reoccurring posts or something, you might need to maybe handle or hire somebody else to just help them go through, whatever your membership community is or your free group, to just help you get people onboarded and help you figure out if that's the direction you want to take with it. I do recommend when you have any sort of really big membership group, not to leave it just to yourself to do the quality control, because you probably already looked over this content so many times that you might be blind to any typos or anything like that. The next thing that I'm going to say is that when you are doing these sort of funnel audits, make sure that you're actually thinking about some outside of the box ways that people might find you. I do encourage you to actually Google yourself and your business name and check out the first 3 pages of results on Google to see if there's any pages that look kind of weird. I recently did that and I found out that one of my old websites from back in the day, it was actually ranking higher than my new current website. So I'm going to need to fix that. You never know what you might find out when you do a quick Google search. I know that I went through a lot of the different steps in a funnel audit, and you might have other things that might be part of your marketing campaign. So if you have a podcast, you might want to look at old show notes, see how they can be kind of jazzed up. If you have a YouTube channel, you can see if maybe you can add more calls to action to your summaries. If you have a Instagram, you can actually add, make a standalone link, make the link tiny, and then you can maybe jazz up, your bio by leading people to an evergreen offer page. These are the things to kind of think about as you keep growing and scaling your business. When we first start out with our online businesses, a lot of times we have such low traffic that it's they're pretty much warm traffic because they already know you. Maybe you're getting clients and customers out of your own network. As we grow and more leads are coming to us, we're getting more visibility, more people outside of our immediate sphere know about us. That means that, when you are just doing converting people into clients, sometimes it means that those little details are going to make the difference. If you are, getting a larger percentage of people looking at your stuff, then those little tweaks that can make or break a sale or get somebody into your funnel, those things are going to be more and more important. I'm a big fan of the idea that, you know what, imperfect perfection is fine. If it's done, then it's good enough. That is for your DIY bootstrap days. So you don't psych yourself out and you don't, stop doing a thing because, you have analysis paralysis. However, as you start, scaling your business, as you start hiring people, that's a good time to look over everything with a critical eye and think about how you can polish things up, fine-tune things so your conversions, can get a little bit higher, even if it's just like 1 or 2% on that one page. Maybe you might up your conversions just 1 or 2%. But if you do that with all the different areas that people enter your funnel, then that actually builds up over time. And then as you add more and more people, that 2% becomes a bigger deal. So when you audit your funnel, don't just think about where you are now. Think about where you want to be and what sort of professionalism, what sort of image, what sort of reputation, your brand that you want to portray. That makes auditing your funnel, auditing, I know I need to enunciate that word a little better. Maybe I should have named this review your funnel. But anyway, I'm sticking with it. So when you audit your funnel, the thing to keep in mind is that it might not be fun. It might be something that might feel a little uncomfortable. But if you do this with a critical eye to where you want to go, it's going to make this process easier. That's why it's key to have a funnel goal. Now, if you missed yesterday's video, which was all about your funnel goals, I really encourage you to watch that, because once you actually know who you're targeting, what you're selling, the kind of journey that you want to take them on, the sort of problem that you're solving and the impact that you want to make, that makes everything else easier. That makes it so when you audit your funnel and you look at it, you actually have a nice critical eye to view this. You actually know why you're reviewing it, how you're reviewing it, what the standards are, and what you eventually want it to look like. So, that's all the stuff on auditing your funnel. Now, if you wanted a full list of what I was talking about before, about the sort of areas that you should check out, and make sure that you're actually going over with a fine-tooth comb, you can get the free Funnel Fiesta workbook. That's something where you can find the link in the video page. So please download that if you haven't already. Look through it and use that to kind of streamline and organize your process. I really encourage you to go over your funnel, audit it like every quarter. Even if it's something where you just go through the email sequence and maybe you just, hire a VA to like go over, to look for, bad links or something. This will be so helpful. I encourage you to do it yourself the first time, because this might be something where you might find out, that oh God, I didn't know that I had this webinar here. That's just helpful for you, because no VA, until you actually know what you want to do, no VA is going to know. Not the way you do, not how you want to show up, not how you want to stand in front of your people and the impact that you want to make. So I really encourage you to do this first audit yourself. Now, I know that I threw a lot of information at you. If you have questions and you're watching on the replay, you can just write them in the comments. You can also ask them in the group. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you, especially any takeaways that you might have as you go through your own funnels. Did you find anything that surprised you? Was it all in one piece? Or are you realizing maybe you have more of a, a spider's web than an actual funnel? Let me know what's going on. Let me know how your funnel audit goes. And I hope you guys have a great day. As always, I'm Sami Gardner, and I'm your LinkedIn specialist. Bye.